The regulation regarding smoking in light aircraft states that smoking is prohibited when A. In all Australian registered aircraft. B. During flight below 150 foot AGL. C. If the person smoking occupies a control seat. D. During takeoff, refueling, or landing. Which of the following conditions pertains to the carriage of an infant in an aircraft? A. An infant must occupy a normal seat during takeoff and landing. B. An infant may be carried in the arms of an adult passenger providing the infant is restrained with an approved device. C. None of the above. When may a pilot elect to fly at a height lower than 500 feet above the highest obstacle or terrain? A. When the aircraft is operating in Class G airspace and not over populous areas. B. When clearance has been given by ATC. C. In Class G airspace outside the CTAF area. D. When engaged in a missed approach. One item which must be included in a passenger briefing prior to takeoff is A. The operation of fire extinguishers. B. The use and adjustment of seat belts. C. The rules regarding the consumption of alcohol. D. The location of ELTs and emergency rations. You plan to fly OCTA on a VFR flight at a cruising level of 2,500 feet. To maintain VMC at your selected altitude, the minimum vertical separation from cloud is A. Clear of cloud. B. 500 feet. C. 1,000 feet. D. 1,500 feet. For all flights, the pilot in command of an aeroplane shall test the flight controls to the full limit of their travel immediately before A. Takeoff. B. Start up. C. The first flight of each day. D. Taxiing. To maintain VMC when flying OCTA at 4,500 feet AMSL, the minimum horizontal separation from cloud is A. Clear of cloud. B. 1,500 m. C. 5 kilometers. D. 8 kilometers. At a non-controlled aerodrome without an associated MBZ, now called CTAF, the latest position at which an aircraft is permitted to join the circuit is A. On the final upwind leg. B. On the base leg. C. On the crosswind leg. D. On the downwind leg. A steady red light signal directed at an aircraft in flight signifies to the pilot that A. He/she must give way to other aircraft and continue circling. B. He/she may land providing he/she is satisfied that no collision risk exists. C. The aerodrome is unsafe, proceed to another aerodrome. D. He/she should land immediately and report to the tower. When is the pilot in command required to inspect and test the aircraft's fuel system for the presence of water? A. Before startup on each flight. B. Only after each refueling. C. Only before the first flight of each day. D. Before the first flight of each day and after each refueling. At what stage of a flight should you change from area QNH to local QNH, if available, when descending from A075? A. At the commencement of descent. B. At the top of climb. C. When entering controlled airspace. D. In the circuit prior to landing. Which of the following restrictions applies to the consumption of alcoholic liquor by pilots? A. A pilot must not consume any alcoholic liquor during the 8 hours prior to departure. B. A pilot must not consume any alcoholic liquor during the 8 hours prior to flight planning. C. A pilot must not consume any alcoholic liquor during the 12 hours prior to departure. While cruising at A065 octa, you notice that another aircraft is converging on you from the left at the same level. What actions should you take? A. You should give way to the other aircraft. B. You should descend to pass under the other aircraft. C. You should maintain your present height and heading but be prepared to take action to avert a collision if necessary. What kind of weather is being reported at KJFK? A. Rain. B. Mist. C. Fog. What is the angle of attack? A. The angle between the chord line of an airfoil and drag. B. The angle between the chord line of an airfoil and the relative wind. C. The angle between lift and relative wind. According to 91.151, what are the fuel requirements for a VFR night flight? A. To your intended landing point plus 45 minutes. B. To your intended landing point plus 60 minutes. C. To your intended landing point plus 30 minutes. You just passed your check ride and received your PPL. When will you need to do your first flight review to continue to act as PIC? A. Within 24 calendar months. B. Within 12 calendar months. C. Within 18 calendar months. The angular difference between true north and magnetic north is A. Magnetic deviation. B. Magnetic variation. C. Compass deviation. What minimum pilot certification is required in order to operate in Class B airspace? A. Student pilot certificate. B. Private pilot certificate with instrument rating. C. Private pilot certificate or student pilot certificate with appropriate endorsement. You are flying through Class D airspace at 3,000 foot AGL. What are the minimum visibility requirements? A. 3 sm. B. 5 sm. C. 1 sm. To act as pilot in command carrying passengers, the pilot must have made 3 takeoffs and landings in the same class, category, and type, if required, in the preceding A. 30 days. B. 90 days. C. 24 calendar months. The pilot of an aircraft that has been involved in an accident is required to file an NTSB report within how many days? A. 10 days. B. 7 days. C. 5 days. A 26-year-old female is issued a third-class medical certificate on August 15th. How long will her medical allow her to exercise the privileges of her private pilot certificate? A. Until August 15th, 5 years later. B. Until August 31st, 5 years later. C. Until August 15th, 2 years later. Which aircraft has the right-of-way over the other aircraft listed? A. Glider. B. Airship. C. Engine airplane. How often must your transponder be tested and inspected? A. 12 calendar months. B. 24 calendar months. C. 6 calendar months. Filling the tanks after the last flight of the day is a good idea because A. Force any existing water to the top of the tank away from the fuel lines to the engine. B. Prevent expansion of the fuel by eliminating airspace in the tanks. C. Prevent moisture condensation by eliminating airspace in the tanks. In the northern hemisphere, a magnetic compass will normally show a turn toward the north if A. A right turn is entered from an east heading. B. A left turn is entered from a west heading. C. An aircraft is accelerated while on an east or west heading. You fly from an area of high pressure to an area of low pressure without adjusting your altimeter. Your altimeter will read A. The actual altitude above sea level. B. Lower than the actual altitude above sea level. C. Higher than the actual altitude above sea level. What are the 3 ingredients needed in order for a thunderstorm to develop? A. Moisture, lifting mechanism, and instability. B. Lifting mechanism, fronts, and moisture. C. Moisture, mountains, lifting mechanism. What action should a pilot take before entering Class B airspace? A. Contact FSS for traffic advisories. B. Contact tower to get a clearance to enter the airspace. C. Tune into the Unicom frequency. Over a congested area, you must remain feet above the highest obstacle within a horizontal radius of 2,000 feet of the aircraft. A. 1,000 feet. B. 500 feet. C. 2,000 feet. VNO is defined as A. Normal operating range. B. Maximum structural cruise speed. C. Never exceed speed. When carrying passengers, what obligation does the PIC have when it comes to the use of safety belts? A. Has no obligation to tell their passengers to use their safety belts. B. Must brief their passengers on the use of safety belts and to fasten their safety belts during taxi, takeoff, and landing. C. Must tell their passengers to fasten their safety belts for the entire flight. The 4 fundamentals involved in maneuvering an aircraft are A. Power, pitch, bank, and trim. B. Straight and level flight, turns, climbs, and descents. C. Weight, lift, thrust, and drag. The greatest vortex strength occurs when the generating aircraft is A. Heavy, clean, and fast. B. Heavy, dirty, and slow. C. Heavy, clean, and slow. During operations outside controlled airspace at altitude of more than 1,200 feet AGL, but less than 10,000 feet MSL, the minimum flight visibility for day flight is A. 1 sm. B. 3 sm. C. 5 sm. The pre-takeoff briefing of passengers about the use of seat belts for a flight is the responsibility of A. All passengers. B. The PIC. C. The SIC. What action should be taken by the pilot when operating VFR in a military operations area, MOA? A. Obtain a clearance from the controlling agency prior to entering the MOA. B. Operate only on the airways that traverse the MOA. C. Exercise extreme caution when military activity is being conducted. This sign confirms your position on A. Runway 22. B. Routing to runway 22. C. Taxiway 22. Uses communications while in the air. What squawk code should be selected? A. 7600. B. 7500. C. 7700. How far will an aircraft travel in 7.5 minutes with a ground speed of 144 knots? A. 15.00 nm. B. 18.00 nm. C. 14.50 nm. What does the red line on an airspeed indicator represent? A. Maneuvering speed. B. Never exceed speed. C. Maximum structural cruising speed. Day in Canada is defined as that period of time between A. Sunrise and sunset. B. 1 hour before sunrise and 1 hour after sunset. C. The end of morning civil twilight and the beginning of evening civil twilight. D. The beginning of morning civil twilight and the end of evening civil twilight. Unless otherwise specified, a control zone is A. The same as a control area. B. Controlled airspace around an aerodrome that extends vertically from the surface to 3,000 feet AGL. C. Always Class D airspace. D. Controlled airspace along airways above 2,200 feet ASL. No person shall walk, drive or park a vehicle on any part of an uncontrolled aerodrome used for the movement of aircraft except in accordance with permission given by A. The operator of the aerodrome. B. A qualified representative of a commercial air service being operated from the aerodrome. C. A federal peace officer. No person shall fly or attempt to act as a flight crew member of an aircraft if that person A. Is less than 18 years of age. B. Has consumed alcohol or drugs 48 hours prior to takeoff. C. Is suffering or is likely to suffer from fatigue. D. Is over 60 years of age. A person may conduct aerobatic maneuvers in an aircraft. A. Only when no passengers are carried. B. Over a built-up area above 2,000 feet AGL. C. Within Class F advisory airspace when visibility is 3 miles or greater. When two aircraft are converging at approximately the same altitude, the aircraft that has the other on its right shall give way except that A. Aeroplanes shall give way to rotary wing aircraft. B. Helicopters shall give way to aeroplanes. C. Power-driven heavier-than-air aircraft shall give way to airships, gliders, and balloons. When two aircraft are approaching head-on or approximately so and there is danger of collision, each pilot shall A. Alter heading to the right. B. Alter heading to the left. C. Avoid the other by changing altitude. D. Turn on the anti-collision lights.